Okay, so we've all got something. That one thing that every year gets us in the perfect mood for spooky season and Halloween. Movies, TV shows, or books, everybody's got something. And I have one, or in fact I have a few too. Halloween has to be one of my favourite holidays, just because of the way that you can spend it like you can spend no other. And honestly, it's a holiday so suited to me that it might as well have been made for me. Because honestly, it has to be one of the only nights of the year where it's socially acceptable to be tucked up in bed, enjoying spooky films and candy. At least not in the way that I do it anyway. And so today, I just want to take a little bit of time out of your day to talk about something that is perfect for spooky season and guaranteed to get you in the Halloween spirit. That's right, because of course today, we're talking about Gravity Falls' SummerWeen. Despite not being set in the fall when you typically expect a Halloween type episode, Gravity Falls' SummerWeen is still a pretty much pitch perfect embodiment of all the ideas that make Halloween great. Honestly, one of the only other shows that properly embodies all of the ideas that make Halloween so great would have to be Over the Garden Wall, and that will eventually get its own video one day.
Are you ready to see true darkness?
Back to Gravity Falls and the SummerWeen, this episode is one of the greats. Seriously, if you just watch any sort of ranking on YouTube, I'm sure you'll probably see this episode ranked up with a lot of the show's best. And of course, that's for a great number of different reasons. As really, I'm sure that almost every fan of Gravity Falls can find some reason to enjoy this episode. Because really, there are so many different ideas and aspects about this show that have made it so great, and all of them can be found in this episode. Seriously, this show is renowned for its story, character, comedy, and animation. And honestly, everyone online has already spoken as to just how great all of these different aspects of the show are. And of course, one day I might give my own opinions about the series in a retrospective video talking about the entirety of the series. But of course, today we're just here to talk about the SummerWeen and what sets it apart from the rest of the series. And really, for me, I think there are a few key aspects of the episode that go into making it one of my Halloween favourites. And of course, the first would have to be the basis for the idea of this show even having its own Halloween episode, that has been brought to fruition by the show's creation of the SummerWeen holiday, which has apparently come about because of Gravity Falls' own love of Halloween, and so they choose to celebrate it twice a year, once in the summer and then again in the fall, which I think is really just a great idea and a fun way to get around having a show set in the summer and not being able to do a Halloween episode. And something that's great about this episode is that the show doesn't just stop at that one little bit of reasoning for why they celebrate Halloween twice a year. Instead, they really treat the SummerWeen idea as its own holiday and really add to a lot of the show's own world building by creating a bunch of ideas related to the SummerWeen. And really, the show goes out of its way to present you with some of the SummerWeen holiday ideas. Like for example, when it comes to the SummerWeen, the town doesn't carve pumpkins, as instead they carve jack-o'-melons. Which really I think is both a fun and cute idea. Really, the show does a good job at convincing you you're watching a Halloween episode while still making it clear that the SummerWeen is its own distinctive thing.
You paid for the stuff, right?
Of course!
I hate SummerWeen.
And finally, moving on, the big thing I want to talk about as to what makes this episode so great for me would have to be, of course, the SummerWeen Trickster. Gravity Falls is a show renowned for its monster and villain characters, and yes, that trend continues here with this episode. As in this episode, we're introduced to the SummerWeen Trickster. And really, what the Trickster is something that perfectly embodies the ideas of Halloween. When anyone brings up the Halloween holiday, they inevitably think about several ideas related to that holiday. You of course have things like putting up scary decorations, but then you also have things of trick-or-treating. And yes, I really think that the SummerWeen Trickster is so great because he embodies so many of these ideas from the iconic holiday. And now, to prevent spoilers, I'm going to move away from talking about the rest of the SummerWeen Trickster's character and focus more on how he's used in the story of the episode.
Gordon! Remember me!
Really, how the SummerWeen Trickster is used in this episode is perfectly fitting for the type of story they go with. And really, what the show goes with for the story of this episode is something perfectly fitting for the Halloween holiday. And again, in an attempt not to spoil anything, I'm only going to talk about the story in the simplest of terms. Dipper, Mabel and friends incur the wrath of the SummerWeen trickster. And of course, not wanting to suffer the trickster's wrath, all of our characters must work together to achieve a common goal. Of course, whatever this goal is has to be done by a certain time, otherwise the trickster will be released. And really, that's just kind of it. The story might sound kind of simplistic summed up like that, but really what this episode does so well to make this story work is its use of tone. Of course, Gravity Falls is known for having a fun and adventurous tone, but really in this episode I feel like the episode does a good job to let that slip for just a moment in order to really build up the danger of the SummerWeen trickster. Right up until the end of the episode where the reality of what the trickster is revealed. At which point Gravity Falls' regular tone returns and the show gives us a fitting and funny ending.
At the end of the day, SummerWeen isn't about candy, or costumes, or even scaring people. It's a day when the whole family can get together in one place and celebrate what really matters. Pure evil!
And really, that's it. The show gives us a great Halloween episode by giving us an episode that perfectly embodies the ideas of Halloween. Really, what I think too many shows do is go in the opposite direction, where really, when it comes to the idea of doing a Halloween episode, they think that they have to do something absolutely horrifying. And really, you can see this in a lot of live action shows, where the people behind those shows think that in order to make a good Halloween episode, they need to do something absolutely terrifying. Because of course the first thing they think about when they think about doing a Halloween episode is making something scary. But really, when it comes to Gravity Falls and their SummerWeen episode, I think they chose to do the opposite, which has of course really worked out for them. Instead of choosing to do a Halloween episode by embracing horror and making something scary, I think that the show made a good choice to actually do something else, which was of course to embrace all the ideas embodying Halloween, by making something that's both scary and fun. Because of course Halloween isn't just solely about scary stuff. Instead, Halloween is about the fun that can come from enjoying all of that scary stuff. And really, I think that whole argument is perfectly demonstrated by this episode of Gravity Falls. But still, I'm just one guy and that's my opinion, so yeah. Please, everybody, let me know what you thought about this episode of Gravity Falls in the comments section down below. And maybe while you're at it, let me know what your costume is for this year's Halloween. And yeah, with all that out the way, please, everybody, don't forget to do all the regular YouTube stuff, like, subscribe and comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.